Hey folks, this is Bill from Iona Homestead in Little White Dory, and we're out here today. It's March 26th, I think, Sunday. Yesterday was a completely gray, crazy, windy day, and it was something that we just basically stayed inside all day. So I'm out here now, and I'm just going to take a look in the greenhouses to show you what I've got cooking. And let me flip this around and I'll show you. Okay, while I'm over here, I'll just get a quick peek. We'll show you that this one, actually I haven't been out here since yesterday, but looks like everything stayed in place. It should be somewhat airtight, watertight. Of course, you can see spaces like this where I can feel the heat blowing in and out there. These could have maybe been put down again. Yeah, these came off here a little bit. So it was 20 plus mile an hour winds we had here, which is not uncommon, but it's not common. Anyway, it's secure. We're good. And I'll come down here and show you the vent on this end. When I open this, it lets out a lot of heat. See if I can do this one-handed. Yeah. We open this up. This is just going to let a lot of the heat naturally float out. And I have to look at the temperatures. I'm not sure. Yeah, this one came up a bit. Came out of its seat, I guess, is what I would say. But didn't compromise anything. These stayed pretty good. So, this is greenhouse number 2 this year. And we're in the processes of putting number 3 together. It's interesting. I've had these pieces of styrofoam for several years, and I don't think I ever had them pieced together so nicely to make it, this bottom section, a very much so insulated little tub. I don't know what I did that was so different, but it is really, from a point of view of does it fit, you can see it's got pretty good seams all around. And then the frame for my canopy or cover here is just placed inside and bent. And then that'll be another greenhouse. Head over to the greenhouse. You can see the wind is picking up. It's still March, which comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb, so they say. And then they say April showers bring May flowers. So we'll see. We got some rain yesterday, not a lot, mostly wind. So we're going to head in here, which is going to be quite warm. I think I'm going to take my jacket off before I even go in. Nah, I'll leave it on for now. So we set this up so that my door can be kept open and get inside. I should put this on the other side because I don't even really probably need this to be closed up here today. But if I do, I put this through here, get it onto the chicken wire in there, and we just clip it on. It'll hold it open. And as I look in here, wow, do I see growth. So we had a problem, or have a problem, with mold. You can see the green. And it's, it is what it is. It's mold. I don't really know if I can do anything about it. I'm seeing some little tiny, seedlings trying to pump through. And I think that now that they're in here, it's warm and humid in here, and there's nice bright light. I'm just looking, all of these plants, the ones that I'm touching, they all look great. They were all very healthy. Of course, some of them are bigger than others. But these are all doing fabulous out here. And I'll come out here later, water them, rotate them, make sure there's no dry spots. Sometimes there's a curve. I put down in here, just so it would get growing, is some parsley, kale, and I got a transplant, and some more peppers. So this is my first essentially holding place for my trays. And some people would say, hey, these things are getting too big. Well, somebody starts me on first day, I'll sell it right out of that little container at probably $3. Otherwise, I transplant them into solo cups and get either $2 to $3, depending. We have in here a heater that's capable of 750 watts or 1500 watts, high and low. A fan to circulate air. When it gets hot in here, I don't have a window to open it. So the first thing to do is just start circulating it, get the airflow, get the humidity a little lower when it's air flowing. And the plants, it's not going to go low humidity, but it'll move it a little bit. And plants love it. So this is working. We're going to look at a couple of days now. I think it's Tuesday, Monday into Tuesday, or Tuesday into Wednesday. I don't remember. We're supposed to hit 34 degrees here. So hopefully my little heater, my little setup will work. We have temperature sensors here so that I can, well, there's 2 of them in here now. I'll move one to the next greenhouse eventually. But you can see there's a little controller. I don't know if we'll zoom in and show it to you there. That's about the best I'm going to get for seeing it. It's about I think this one is maybe like $50 because it's got Wi-Fi capability. But we have a sensor, which is right here, this one. Actually, it's wired in, so this one is at just a height above the leaves. And when I get the temperature there, I kind of can gauge that from there down it'll be a little cooler, but there up it'll be hotter. So, given the circumstances, I can tell the temperature via Wi-Fi, and I can adjust that controller to play with the fan and the heater. I'm going to actually put a little more tilt on that, just so that there's a little bit of a blow toward the door. Now it's warm enough in there that today I'm sure I could just leave this door open. I don't see, as I look up, a cloud in the sky, and we're hitting 90 degrees. Let's see if I can tell you what the temperature is right here, right now. Yeah, it's 83 degrees at this height, so it's probably about 90 or 95 up at my head, and maybe 60 down below. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep this open. I have to consider that I have some dogs that might go in, to keep them out as they run away. And yeah, so that's the greenhouse. Everything's going according to plan so far. This greenhouse is kind of on hold. I won't need it until I'm transplanting, and that gives me really like 2 more weeks to go, or a week at least, when I decide what it is I'm going to do with this. I think I'm going to go to Home Depot and get 2 more 16-foot 5/4 planks for the bottom, and run 2 of these things together and make one big long tunnel, and then line it with this shelving the full length, having the ability to keep it up off the floor and also just use the floor. Then I also will use, over here I have the frame set up. These little greenhouse frames have a cover that go over it, and they're kind of like an envelope with openings with zippers to get in and out of them. There's 2 of them here, and I have 2 more in boxes to open. Those worked well. Problem is that you can't, you have to physically come and open them. So you want to make sure that it's at a point in the year where you can open them all day, it doesn't matter the temperature, and close them for rain, wind, and nasty conditions. So that's the status. It'll take us over to the garden here. We had a little bit of a debacle. Something we usually buy for a transplant medium called Sweet Peat. We bought 5 acres, had it delivered, paid top dollar for the delivery, top dollar for the actual product, and ultimately got product that was contaminated with rock. So prior to getting this delivery, I'm going to just come over here and show from here, I had 0 rocks in my garden because I had previously filled these things with Sweet Peat, which is a organic manufactured product from Massachusetts. It's predominantly wood chips that have been composted. Shush. And I fill these beds and top them off. Well, Gumbo, hey, shush. I topped off the beds this year, and look at the bones that have popped up. They're all over the place, all right? Everything that you see in the way of a rock was just put in. I'm going to come in, you'll see them down here closer. But everything that you see on the surface here is from this delivery. And as such, I called the company I got it from, much to my surprise. Hold on, let me just go check the video. Yeah, so I was saying, I had to stop and deal with some dogs that were barking, and I probably have to do it again. But all of these rocks that you see in the bed that are surfaced are pieces of crushed concrete in an industry called RCA, recycled concrete aggregate. And it's what they would use to lay down a road bed and then tamp it and build a road on top of it. So it's kind of a recycled product. It's not the worst thing to have in my garden. I mean, it's not chemically tainted, but it's rocks. And this is the remains of the 5 yards I purchased, and there's a good example of chunks of concrete, right? That didn't get crushed the way it should have. But if you look, there's another piece. There's more down there. There's more as you look into the face of this, and it's just a lot. So I called the company I got it from, which was like a nursery landscape supply. And to my surprise, without really any hesitation, they just said, okay, we'll come and get it. We'll send a crew, we'll come get it. And I said, well, there's only 3 yards maybe of it out still. 2 yards are probably in my beds. You can't take it out of the beds, but you can have this pile back. So they said, okay, they'll send the crew. Well, that was for Friday or Thursday when it was pouring rain, and they decided they didn't really want to do this. So I called to see where they've been. How come they didn't show up when they were supposed to? Of course, they told me, oh, we were just going to call you. And I said, listen, it's not worth you coming to get this stuff. I get that. You're going to spend more money to come get this than it's worth. I've already spent more than it was worth. But I don't want the stuff. I don't need the stuff, but I don't want you to have to spend too much. If you're willing to sell it to me for like the price of topsoil, then I'll just keep it. Just send me the difference. Well, they said, no, this is not right. They felt that it was bad that this stuff was in there. And they said, we'll just give you the full refund, and if you want to keep the stuff, you can. So, 3 yards of sweet peat that's got chunks of RCA. And again, you can see it. It's even in the garlic beds, which were planted last year. They were all coming up to the surface. You guys are crying, crybabies. So, last piece of the puzzle here. I'll quickly head over this way as I take a quick view of Dexter, my newest four-legged friend that's technically a foster, but I think he is proving to be the foster failure. You can see what the wife says. Okay, so they're happy. Over here, whoops, this is where I'm going to set up my transplanting station. I do it so that I can have a view down the driveway when I have my wagon out. I can see what's going on. I can be behind this gate so the dogs can be okay. And in here, this trailer, I have 2 yards of good sweet pea. Let's see, I can show you here. This stuff is like really, this is a little pebble. That's what I'm accustomed to seeing in here. Nothing bigger than a pebble like that. And chock full of earthworms. So I bought this from actually a company I used to work for many, many moons ago when they were a concrete manufacturer. But they've gone into it's a Mason Supply. So they had always had materials for the concrete they made, and then they bought the Mason Supply Company, which is where they have, all kinds of stuff, sand, gravel, and stone. And they carry sweet peat, which is a little odd, but maybe it's because the owner likes it. I hope. And I was able to get this sweet peat from them this year for $40 a yard. I have 2 yards in here. This 2 yards is what I'll use for my transplanting. And I literally kind of set up a table right on top of the trailer. I'll show you that in the future. And then I arranged the picnic table and so on, so I have places to put the transplanted pots. Those transplanted pots will eventually go into this trailer, the other greenhouses, and different, places where I can keep them away from the pooches. All right, so that's the quick tour for today. We got the sun out. We've got temperatures coming up. I got to set this up so the dogs won't go in there. I got to water things and rotate trays. And then I got to do the same thing inside. So y'all have a good day. Bye.